And this is Ken Kreitzer for Cam Vets Media. We are in Washington, D.C. at the Association of the U.S. Army Conference. Have a chance to talk to a West Point graduate, and that is Major General Clair A. Gill. General, good to see you.
It's great to see you. Thanks for
What's it like to be at the AUSA event? Talk about your area of the Army.
Yeah. So this is a great opportunity for us to talk about Army aviation. We've got all of our teammates here, the aviation six-pack, all the leadership, and we've got some legacy leaders here. What we're really trying to talk about today is where do we see the branch going in the future, right? So we've got what we're operating right now, but we're seeing the geopolitical situation in the world. We're watching conflict happen, and we're thinking about how does that apply to us. So lessons observed, where we can take some of those things and apply them to the Army aviation we want to see in 2040.
You talked a little bit about Army aviation being three-dimensional and how it views the battlefield. Can you explain how that works?
Yeah, we use the term see-sense, strike, move, and expand, right? So the way that I describe it is we're everything that the Army does, but we do it in the third dimension, right? So see-sense, the same way that intelligence collectors collect on the ground or through satellite means or whatever it is, we do that from the air, right? We strike just the same way that artillery does, but in a more dynamic fashion. We move the same way that our logistics folks move or the way the infantry and the armor maneuver. And we expand the battlefield by either extending command and control opportunities or creating logistics hubs that we can move back and forth. Or frankly, if the situation requires us to take a soldier off the battlefield, we're going to come get them and move them.
Very good. You talked about training. How many flight hours that you conduct every year to train future pilots? What are the keys in training a pilot for Army aviation?
So one of the things that I'm really wrestling with as I'm coming on, I'm only about a month into the job, is are we giving them our aviators the foundational skills, right? Do they have the quote-unquote stick and rudder skills when we deliver them to the force? And so we're looking at ways that we can produce a better product, right? So whether it's using augmented or virtual reality, or whether it's putting them in a different helicopter, or whether it's looking at our curriculum, our programs of instruction, and trying to model what other services are doing. We're taking a look at all that stuff right now, and really trying to get both the most effective thing, but also for the best bang for buck. So a cost efficient model.
And you talked a little bit about the future of Army aviation, new equipment, new systems, technology coming out faster than you can install it seems. What do you see as the keys in the future to prepare for?
So I see one key, right? So there's a lot of technology happening, and we're going to take advantage of all that. That's why we've got our industry partners here. We're going to tell us kind of the things that they can bring to bear. But I think the one thing that brings all that together is something we call MOSA, the Modular Open Systems Approach. That allows new technology to come on board our systems, and we can input it immediately at the speed of technological change, as opposed to if we get something that's vendor locked where we don't own the intellectual property, we can't modify it without having to go back, right? So what we want is systems. Think of like your app on your iPhone where a new update comes and you just keep updating. It gets better and better every 6 months. That's what we're looking for.
So important. General Gill, just tell us a little bit about some of the stops on your Army career since you graduated from West Point.
I've spent a little bit of time in special operations, and I've spent a little bit of time in the 101st, and then I did my brigade command in the 10th Mountain Division. Unfortunately, I've spent a little bit of time in the Pentagon as well, so I've got a couple tours there where I was the Director of Army Aviation, and most recently on the Joint Staff as the Deputy Director for Regional Operations in the J-35.
Well, Major General Clair A. Gill, Commanding General, United States Army Aviation Center of Excellence and Fort Novosel. Thank you for your service. Good to see you today at the AUSA conference in Washington.
Thanks, Ken.
Our pleasure. It's Ken Kreitzer for Cam Vets Media in Washington.